Hi everyone, today we are going to see a very basic video of ECG, and that is called cardiac action potential. There are two types of cardiac action potentials, nodal cardiac action potential and non-nodal cardiac action potential. Nodal cardiac action potential happens in SA node and in AV node, and the non-nodal cardiac action potential happens in the Purkinje fibers and in the muscular layer of the heart. I'll do a separate video for nodal cardiac action potential when I go through anti-arrhythmic drugs. For today's ECG purposes, we are going to go through non-nodal cardiac action potential. Okay, I'll draw a cell. So impulse forms inside the cell, which transmit to the next cell through intercalated disc. So how does the impulse forms in the cell? And that is what cardiac action potential is. Okay. So this is a cell, and we are going to go through 3 ions today. Sodium, potassium and calcium. So these 3 ions present inside the cell and outside the cells. So sodium is present in the extracellular space, potassium and calcium. So these 3 ions present inside the cell and outside the cell. So in the extracellular space, the normal value of sodium is 135 to 145, where inside the cell it's only about 10 to 20 millimoles, where potassium inside the cell is 150 approximately, where in extracellular space it's only 3.5 to 4.5. Calcium is about 2.5, and the inside is very small amount. So this difference helps these ions to move into the cell and out from the cell. So this produces impulse, which we call cardiac action potential. And we are going to see how the impulse is forming inside the cell. So they put a small test tube into the cell, and notice that the charge of the cell is highly negative, about -70 to -90. This is basically because of negatively charged protein floating inside the cell. So initially, sodium gate open up. The sodium get activated, and the sodium gate open up, and the sodium will rush into the cell. And sodium is positive charged, and when this positive charged sodium comes into the cell is going to be slightly positive. So this is the baseline -70, and now positive charge is coming in, making the cell positive. So once it reaches up to its threshold, sodium gate closes. Now the sodium gate closes, and the potassium gate open up. So potassium is large amount inside the cell, so potassium is going to go out from the cell to the extracellular space. So potassium is also positive charge, and now potassium is getting out from the cell. Now positive charged potassium is getting out. That's going to make the cell negative. So once the cell actually reach up to here, calcium gate open up. That is the last time that we are going to discuss today. So calcium gate open up, and the calcium will come into the cell, which is going to make the cell positive. Calcium is also positive charged. This is going to make the cell positive. And potassium gate is still open up, and the calcium is still coming into the cell. So potassium is getting out from the cell, making the cell negative. Calcium coming into the cell, making the cell positive. So we get an average like this. And once it reaches to its threshold, calcium gate closes. So calcium gate closes, but potassium gate is still open up, and potassium is going out from the cell, making the cell negative now, and back to its baseline. So this is called the sodium phase, potassium phase, and at this time the potassium get out from the cell. And this is potassium and calcium. This is the potassium phase, and the cell is back to its normal stage. So this is phase 0, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and this is also phase 4. And this is called depolarization, and this is repolarization. So once a cell starts to have the depolarization, it has to go through repolarization before another impulse happens. So there is a time between depolarization and repolarization, and that is called ERP, effective refractory period. And at this time, we can't stimulate another impulse there. So patients with the increased heart rate, they give medication to increase the ERP so that the heart rate can come down. And that we will discuss later when we go through nodal cardiac action potential and anti-arrhythmic drugs. And this is the conclusion of non-nodal cardiac action potential. Thank you for watching.